So I'm always talking about branding and how you're supposed to show up for your audience, but what does that really mean? Going into the 21st century and getting in front of your audience the right way, that means you need to push the live button. Today, we're going to talk all about it. Hey, get ready to talk like a brand and live your best brand life. I'm Peachy Williams, your brand voice builder. I have Doriel Larrier here with me today, and she is the inventor of Push the Live Button. Welcome, Doriel.
Good day.
How are you? Thank you so much for visiting us on Talk Like a Brand.
I'm extremely excited to be here. I am humbled and thrilled to be invited to your space.
Absolutely. So what you guys don't know is that Doriel and I are part of a sisterhood. We met 2 years ago now, when we were in another group, the Savvies. And again, I talk all the time about I have people and I have this group of sisters, and Doriel is really one of those people who I can confide in and talk about business and branding. And she is doing a phenomenal job when it comes to pushing the live button. A lot of times people are scared to get in front of the camera. And so let's talk a little bit about that, Doriel. Why do you think people are scared to get in front of the camera, even though video is so prevalent in our time?
One of the things that keeps popping up into my head are moments where in the past, adults or colleagues or peers or family members have told you to actually not speak. Whether it was you grew up in a household where they said children should be seen or not heard, or you were in an organization where you may not have felt that you had a skill set that people honored and respected what you said or what you had to say, or whether it was in your business and you have a senior manager or peers who think that you don't have anything to contribute. And so your voice was squelched. It was hushed. Someone literally or figuratively told you, quote unquote, go sit down somewhere, which in some cultures means be quiet.
Yes, be quiet.
So I think those moments pop up in a lot of people's present. And when the moment is presented for them to show up for their business, to show up for themselves, to advocate for themselves, to stand in front of the crowd and say, yes, this is what I am good at. This is what I do. This is what I have to offer. Those memories of being told to be quiet or to sit down or to be in the back or to hush creep up, and it keeps them from putting themselves in the best light.
I agree. And I can totally relate with the hush, because I grew up in a time where it was children are seen and not heard. We didn't have a chance to express the way we felt and express our opinions. And so when you get older, because of the fact that you are suppressed so long, it can be difficult trying to get in front of all these people on camera so that they can see who you are and connect with you authentically, because you are afraid, because you grew up being suppressed. So I completely get it. Tell us a little bit about Push the Live Button and where it came from, why you're doing it, and a little bit about your background to help us give us a little perspective on why you do this.
I will probably start out with a little genealogy. I am an only child, and I say that with the focus on people's perspectives of the lonely only. So to one extent, people think that children who are the only child, that they quote unquote are spoiled. I don't think I was necessarily spoiled, but I had no one else to compete with for attention. I was also a very talkative child in school. Shout out to my elementary school teachers who would always say, they would say to my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Larrier, if she would only just be quiet, she would get a lot more work done. And over time, I have been able to use those parent conference messages to my benefit. And so now literally I actually get paid on a number of platforms to speak, to bring information, to convey information. Along the journey, though, there were, as I said earlier, there were people in my life who did not understand the questions that I was asking and how I really was searching for answers. And because they did not have answers for me, I thought, or they would say, you ask a lot of questions, or why are you thinking about that? Or why are you thinking so deeply about that? I wound up saying, not that my questions were not good enough, but maybe just were not the right person to answer them. Push the live button came after a couple of conversations with people about showing up for their business, showing up for themselves in more ways than just giving a business card or sending a flyer. And I kept asking people who had been shy. And I said, oh, okay, well, tell me about your business. I'd love to talk to you about your business. Let's have a conversation. I had a show that is now called The Digital Couch. It went by another name before that. And they would say, oh no, like I don't want to speak about it, or I can't get on live video. I can't show up, in person about it. And I said, well, who's going to speak for your business? And this was before Rona. So there wasn't the forced effort to utilize social media to share your information. And a couple of people said, no, like I don't want people to see me. And I said, well, why don't you let me help you with that? What are you concerned about? What are you nervous about? What are you afraid of? And they said what usually is said. 1, I don't know what to talk about. 2, I may stumble over my words. 3, who's going to show up? 4, I don't know how to sort of keep the engagement for that long to talk about my business or to talk about what I do. And so I said, well, can you talk to me about it? Like if I ask you questions, can you answer my questions? Can you talk to me about it? And they said, well, yeah, I could talk to you. I said, so then let's take the focus off of the camera, or take the focus off of being seen, and just put the focus on speaking to me. So that's where Push the Live button came from. I knew that once people added that level of showing up for themselves, using a platform that people can swipe and pop in, or they can see it on the replay. But I really believe that when consumers can see the producer or the owner or the organizer of the thing that they consume or are interested in, and they literally see the light in the person's eyes, they hear from the lips of the person, they see the motions of the person, they feel that passion, and you can feel passion through it audio only, which is the podcast platform. But to see it live, it's so incredible. It's very transformative. And I wanted those people who, number one, are concerned about showing up for themselves on a live platform to have support. And those people who already show up to leverage the showing up by having the ability to push the live button and maximize their opportunities to share that message.
Okay. And so this is good because I talk about that in branding all the time, showing up for your audience, showing up for your people. But I talked the other day about trends, and one of the trends I talked about was being human. And, it's amazing that they're calling this a trend now when I've been talking about being human and being authentic for your brands, like from the very beginning. But it's so important because people, first of all, we live in not only cancel culture, but we live in scam culture, and people get scammed left and right. You just don't know anymore. And because of the fact that the internet is so robust, people are finding out that they've gotten cheated out of things. They're getting misinformation. They're very misinformed about certain things. And so when you're able to see a brand, when you're able to see a business owner show up, most of the time, I won't say all of the time, but most of the time, they're being so authentic and transparent with you that you can't help but connect with them. And so for me, this was amazing for you to do this because this is in your wheelhouse. You are an educator, correct?
I am.
You're adding more value because you have more to offer than just someone who is speaking about it. You live it. You've done live streams, forever, it seems like. And so this is the value that you bring to your brand.
It is. I am thoroughly, thoroughly excited. I actually did some counting. I actually came up with a document that I saw a few weeks ago, and it identified that this year, so this happens to be 2022, is actually my 20th year anniversary of doing this type of work. I didn't know that it was called marketing. I didn't know that it was called consulting. I knew that I was helping people who had a business and was trying to get them to take that business that had to do with caring for people, actually just caring for little people, and help the person get from the idea in their head, and take that idea and actually organize it using licenses and, what we now would probably call like licensing your business for the specific market and bringing it to life. I didn't know what it was called back then. I just knew I was helping people, but I also was trying to get people to identify the voice of their business. Again, like I guess that's what you do now, but I didn't know that it had a name. But taking that idea and formulating it into like the name and the mission and the vision and how it's going to look on the literally on the walls, what it's going to look like in your policies and procedures, how you're going to communicate. And now I'm using the terminology that I know now. How are you going to convey that to your clientele? How are you going to get that correct clientele so that you're not serving everybody, you're serving a specific niche market? Like I was using those terms back then, not knowing how grandiose it is right now. And so I'm really blessed and honored and humbled that I'm still able to do this work. I'm so excited that I can, for those people who want, like everybody, you know, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, okay with that. But those people who say, wow, she's really committed to supporting people who want to take their idea and make it larger, or take the idea and, as we say in this world, repurpose it so that a lot of different people can actually see it. That's what I'm extremely, extremely excited about.
That's awesome. And so you actually went the extra mile. And so you have a book which really addresses pushing the live button.
I do. I do. It is. So it's a live stream planner. I was very thrilled. And of course, you and I were in a group about that, and it came to life. It was very awe inspiring to see something that was in your head and, let's say, on your dashboard and in your Google Drive, to actually get from the head to a platform and then to a book, and then of course to be sent to my house. I literally was just standing there looking at the book and saying, wait, I did that? I did that, because I was always taught, or it wasn't broadcasted to me how accessible it is for you to take your idea and to have it in print. So making that stride and having that accomplishment is really, really powerful. And people will say all the time, hey, if I could do it, then you can do it. I'm saying to people, if I can get up and quote unquote push the live button, and I've done it at 5:30 in the morning for like over 400 days straight with people, and I had like over 90 people coming to my quote unquote my message moment at 5:30 in the morning, that was incredible. People would be thinking, well, who's going to get up at 5:30 in the morning? These 90 folk did, and that was amazing. But they came, of course, for a specific message. Same thing with the work in live stream, same thing with the work in the book. If you're ready for that, then it is there for you. If you're not, you can utilize it as a resource. Not everybody is going to, let's say, push the live button. Not everybody is going to show up and have their face, as I say, have their face in the digital space. That's okay. But it's really important for people to hear your voice, especially in this day where we've just spent the last 24 or so months behind our home, or behind the doors of our home, or reclused from the physical contact and the face-to-face engagement that we've had with people. Now, if not any other time, it's really important to have your face be added to part of your brand. And even if your edges aren't laid, even if you're not in the best, have the best duds on, or your nails aren't done, what people really want to see is that you're alive and that you're committed to doing the work that you want to do. How many people literally over the last 24 months or so, 3 years, have shifted from being all poshed and prissy, or the pomp and circumstance, to, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm still here and that I still care about this business, this idea, this passion product, or what have you. And I want to let you know that I'm trying to give that to you. We have makeup free. We have whatever, like no fancy clothes day or minimalistic, what have you, because it's not about what you put on the outside. It's about what comes through from the heart and the soul. That's what I want people to get across. So pushing the live button is not just to show your fanciness. People want to see you show up, and what's the code word today? Authentically. They want to see you. They're not really focused. Once people get past the eyeliner and the sharp edges and the funky glasses and stuff, they want to see your lips moving, talking about the things that is important to you and that solves a problem or addresses an issue that people have.
I agree. I agree. And that is so important when you're branding your business, because if you cannot be authentic, it will show. It shows in your brand voice, it shows in the way that you do things. And, you want to get to a point where you're not just throwing things against the wall to see if they'll stick, but you want to be there to make an impact. You want to make sure that you're talking to your audience and having them connect with you the right way. And so I really appreciate the fact that you are doing this. You are having people push the live button because it's a fear that a lot of people have. And a lot of people don't move forward in their businesses because they're so scared to go live. They're so scared to go on camera. They feel like people care about the way they look instead of thinking about, I'm making a difference. So it really doesn't matter what I look like because I'm actually making a difference. So where can we find this wonderful push the live button planner?
You can find it on Amazon.com. You type in live stream planner, you type in my name, Doriel Larrier. You can also find it on my website, learntogrowyou.com, and you can purchase it there.
That is amazing. I want to thank you so much for coming on. This is not the last time because we're actually going to be doing a bunch of stuff together here in 2022. But I just think it's so important that people hear about other people who are building their brands the right way and authentically, and being part of a movement where people show up and are their true selves is very, very important when you're building a real true brand that you want to have longevity. So the vision is to do all the things. The mission, one of the building blocks in that mission is to be authentic and push the live button. So I thank you so much, Doriel, for coming on. And can you let us know where we can find you? Where can people find you? I know that you have a Facebook group and all those other things in place, those other vehicles where they can get in touch with you. So please let everybody know.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Learn to Grow You. And the U is the letter U. So it's LearnToGrow, letter U. Learn to Grow You on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. You can catch me on Monday nights where I have my live stream platform, which is called the Digital Couch. #Digital Couch. I have inspirational leaders who impact, influence, and impart their genius to the world on my couch every Monday night. I host the same show first Thursdays of every month for an international organization, so it's growing. And you can also join my live stream lab, which is my private group of those people who want to launch their live streams or level up their live streams. And you can find that on Facebook as well.
All right, then. Well, guys, this is Doriel Larrier, and we're so happy to have you. Thank you again for coming. And until next time.